Hey, Pat. I don't know if you got to see the first video. Most likely not, because I think I forgot to upload it. But either way, whichever one of these you watch first. First of all, giving honor to your space, your experience where you are right now, what you are looking to find in your search for truth and wholeness. My comments are just my mind bouncing off your mind. Not trying to validate what you're saying, not trying to validate or present an opposing view just for the sake of the sake. Just saying, hey, bouncing ideas off one another, right? Heart to heart. So in one of your statements, you said African spirituality. And I know you're probably thinking, Chantra, why don't you just call and tell me this? Because here's the funny thing. If I try to call you, what'll happen is instead of focusing on this moment that you sent that was meaningful to your heart and mind to share with people you loved, what'll happen is, because I think I'm sarcastic and funny, I'll answer the phone and you're like, hey, sister, hey. And no one else will start cracking jokes and talk about something completely different. And then we'll end up having this great conversation about something totally that was not what we meant to talk about. Because that's the beauty of community. You kind of bounce where you bounce. So the reason I'm doing this and the reason I'm looking at my phone is so I can actually speak to the things that you talked about, because I believe they matter to you and you matter to me. When it says, I'll be honest, I need your help. I wasn't sure if you were advocating for African spirituality or if you were making a point that, because you said the thing that resonates. So at first I thought you were in agreement with my spirit is there is no concept of the devil. There is a concept that you can't separate God from creation. Everything is God. That means good and bad in man. Everything is within you, and your journey involves understanding how to be balanced, to maintain your peace within, and sharing your gift purpose with others. So here's my bounce off of that. Oh no, okay. Then it goes, how can you learn if you don't gain understanding of both sides of a concept? This is where I got confused. There is an opposite to everything: hot, cold, day, night, white, black, wet, dry. And so it was like you have to acknowledge and have understanding about both sides of both concepts. And so then I couldn't, I was trying to make that connect to, well, then if there's no concept of the devil, then how can the devil exist if God doesn't exist? That's where I got confused. And I think it's just I don't have a lack of clarity of what you were saying, so I probably will have to call you on that one. You said it makes sense to me that selfless and selfish are the concepts of good and bad within man. Thus, God and the devil. All sins are an example of being selfish. On the flip side, God is selfless, love, and service. And so looking at that one, I was trying to, because I like to picture stuff, and comparing selflessness and then selfishness, and then good and then bad, and then God and the devil. And the thought of God can't be compared though, because if we're talking about, and this is just my understanding, I'm not saying you're right or wrong, I'm saying this is my thought. The thought of, okay, or maybe that's not what I was trying to say. The thought of opposites is what I'm trying to say. That's what I meant. It's not that they can't be compared, because you can compare an elephant and ice cream. You can compare two things. But the thought of opposites, right? Or like the inverse of each other. So God and devil are not opposites in terms of I'm just the other form, like light, dark. Even though God is light and the devil does bring darkness, right? Because that would mean there's almost like this form of equality that just kind of is a perfect flip. And that doesn't, in my mind, work like that, because the creator of everything isn't the opposite of something he created. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know if I'm saying that right. So like a potter is not the opposite of the pot, because he's the potter, because he made the pot. He's not the opposite of it. He's the creator of it. So the pot may not understand that, but the creator very much understands why he made the pot, what he made the pot from, how easily the pot will break, and what have you. He has this totally different level of understanding. And to me, the devil does not have that same level of understanding, and yet he think him do, because he can quote scripture. And this is what's scary about people who can quote scripture or who have head knowledge. I dated a dude like this. He was a trip. This dude was like, I read the whole book of some book, and I and so and so. And he was like, when I step outside, the sun shines and it comes to my feet, and I'm like, all right, sure. You say so? Like, hey, everybody got a thing. But his thing was trying to make me feel inferior because he had read, this particular book of the Bible 3 or 4 times and all this. And I'm like, yeah, I would be impressed, but I'm not, because I don't see how that's benefiting you at all. Like, you have head knowledge about something. You have no actual, like you don't even believe what you read. So why would it matter? Like, stop sign say stop, and you can read it like phonetically. That's great. If you don't actually stop and believe that that sign is there to protect you and keep you from hurting somebody else, and actually obey it when you see it, you just stop, even if you don't know why you got to stop, even if you don't see nobody coming. If you don't do the doggone thing, then I'm not saying the point of knowing that you read it. Like, you might as well just, you could have been in Russia and read through and be like, I didn't know what that word said. It was like, you still caused the accident. Regardless if you knew what the word said or not, the fact that you didn't follow it caused some problems for other people. And so whether it be like African spirituality or American or any other nationality, I think the beautiful thing about the Holy Spirit, he doesn't have a nationality. He doesn't, the Holy Spirit doesn't have he didn't have that. It's crazy. Jesus said, I only have a place to rest my head. And so when we think about that, I don't, the beauty of when he comes, he was like, I'm coming back for everybody, every tribe, every kindred, every tongue, whatever. I'm coming back. In the Old Testament, where they were thought, oh, I'm an Israelite, I'm saved. And it was very important for you to know, are you an Amorite, a Hittite, a Cushite? And, because they're going to hook you up. You with them, the Jebusites, and y'all act like this. And they were linking and locking people into who they came from. And then pretty much Jesus came and was like, I'm not really on none of that. So yeah, I'm about to go hang out with so-and-so, and Zacchaeus come out the tree, and I know you a tax collector, and they hit on you, and you over there, fisherman, let's roll up. And I know, according to the Pharisees and Sadducees, you got to be educated and have all of that. And I don't mind smart people. Come on, Luke, bro's a doctor. I mean, he was just like, when I call, come, I'm not really pressed on your occupation, nationality, or none of that. But I need you to know we up in a straight up real battle. And what we about to go through about to be hard. Oh, low key, I'm gonna die. I'm coming back though. People who follow me, yeah, you're gonna die too. But just same way I'm gonna resurrect. I know y'all don't believe me, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna resurrect you too. And so the interesting thing is this man Jesus dies, right? And they're heartbroken. They're like, dang, we thought he was the Messiah, right? And then he comes back. Like, there's an earthquake. Like, the earth shakes. Like, dead people rise. Like, I want to see that version of Passion of the Christ, where that looked like Thriller, but they probably wouldn't. When them people come up, it says the earth shook and split, and people from the graves got up and walked around. So when Jesus rose, it was resurrection vibes out. Just like, you talking about energy, them joggers got up. So there's already been one form of a resurrection. That's why there are people in heaven right now, contrary to some people's doctrine. There are people up there. Why? Because we've already had one resurrection. He came back. When he came back, people got up with him. Even before he came in physical form, people were caught up and taken, right? And it's just like, wow. Like, we got, like, he was here. We have proof. He was here. We have proof he died. Like, he rose again. And then, so when it goes to that theory of, well, I mean, he was a really good prophet. Okay, here's a thought. You can believe he was a really good man who said, well, okay, here's a thought. Either he was Jesus, he was the Messiah, And he was who he said he was, and he was telling the truth, or he was crazy as hell, mentally ill. And all of these people follow this mentally ill person, which has not been unrealistic. Look how many people follow Hitler, Jim Jones. So I mean, it's not unrealistic to follow someone with mental health issues. Or he was a horrible liar. No, or he was a believable liar, because look how many people followed him. So either he was a liar, he was a liar, a madman, or he was the Messiah. But there's no room to say, oh, well, he was a good prophet, because a good prophet wouldn't lie. He wouldn't pretend to be somebody he's not. He wouldn't blaspheme the name of God. And the followers are either they were charlatans who were stupid, because it's one thing to convince other people and lie to them, that's when you're gonna get something out of it. They got nothing out of it. They lost everything. So they could have been like those poor people who were killed. It was over 900 people who followed Jim Jones to Africa and drank the Kool-Aid. Or were these disciples convinced that way he is the Messiah, and they did see him rise from the dead, and they did touch his hand, and they're like seeing him going through walls, and they like, this is for real, to the point where I would die for this, and they did. So some of them crucified upside down, beheaded, and they're like, I don't care what you do, I already know I'm coming back anyway. He told me I was gonna die. He told me he was gonna die. He came back, and I know I'm coming back. This is real. So that's where it falls for me. The book, The Case for Christ, was essential, just to walk through, how he died. What would that look like? That asphyxiation of the body being slunk. How did other crucified people die? And what that took it there for me. Just to be able to know, no, I just need to know what that looks like. I want to know about him. And either I'm going to believe him or I'm not. But it's just like a dude. Okay, I ain't going to use that example because I don't want to. Okay, because that wouldn't be. But yeah, just know Jesus. Or when you look at it. And so it's not for me to, and this is not to come off like preachy. I promise you, this is pure love. Whereas those things, I kind of just was like, it's almost like when you just want to be with somebody, like, no, I want to know you, like you, not the you people talked about. I done heard some stuff about you, and I ain't even trying to bring up stuff people have said about you, but it got me feeling some kind of way. And I don't really feel close to you because some stuff didn't happen and I can't make it click in here. So I done went and found other ways to make this make sense to me. And it ain't clicking. And I'm definitely not like on some place where I can say, oh, I've arrived. Very much have not. But I'm in a wonderful place of just listening. Like, okay, well, what do you get from that? I enjoy talking to people. Latter-day Saints, the only people who will not talk, because it's interesting. Jehovah's Witnesses have an interesting defense in speech, where it's just like, look, I ain't asking you what the Russellites said. I ain't asking you about your founder. And it's very close to how very traditional Adventist people are, actually. It's funny, Latter-day Saints will talk to me and they'll be like, oh, let me try to explain this in a simple way. And I want to be like, sis, you cool. Go and use your words. I'm not hermeneutically ignorant. Feel free. Tell me about your three heavens. Because I'm curious, because they believe you can basically grandfather people into heaven. And I just like learning about different stuff. And at the end of the day, when life hits me, though, it's cool to have knowledge, but when life hits me, it's not as much the knowledge, it's the knowing that somebody loves me who's here. And that no matter what happens, he got me. And I need a real example. And so Jesus has been my real example, because I've watched him resurrect the pieces of me that had died, that I had killed off, like straight suicide style. And he brought it back. And I was just like, I can't really explain it, but it wasn't nothing but him. It wasn't my self-mind. It wasn't my power. It wasn't nothing in me, because I had nothing left. You don't try to kill yourself that many times to have anything left. I didn't have nothing left. I had the full breakdown, to the point where when he had to build me back up, I knew it wasn't me. Just like when I had the other day, when I had a narcoleptic attack, when I go unconscious. I always go unconscious before I go unconscious. So I'm still driving and I look like I'm operating in my own self. But neurologically, pieces of me are starting to shut down because certain histamines are not connecting with certain dendrites. And my hypothalamus is like, what? Oh, you mean, oh, you need it. And all of a sudden, I'm there and I'm not. I'm there and I'm not. But I'm not conscious enough to say, Shan, pull over quickly now, because that would mean I am sober and alert. Well, I'm not. I'm just foggy enough to be functional, but I am dangerous as heck because I'm driving. So I can't exactly react fast. You swerve in front of me, it's a wrap, because at some point I'm driving blacked out. I'm not conscious. The wheel is still going, the car is still going. So I'll wake up sometimes and people are going around me. I'll realize I don't know where I am. I don't know how I got on those streets, but I did it. And to me, that's that example of me relying on me and then knowing that I wasn't driving. I've watched God drive my car. I have watched the brakes slow down on the highway. I have watched the wheel get me off. And I think having narcolepsy has given me so many death to life experiences that when the Bible talks about arise, awake, be sober, be vigilant, and I'm like, I get it, I get it, I get it. Because even in my sin sickness, you know what I'm saying, like being addicted to pornography was a trip. You can't self-talk yourself out of that. You can't be like, I'm done. You know how some people are like, I quit smoking cigarettes when I put it down, I never put it up. Great for you. It took forever, felt like forever, I'm exaggerating, to come out of that. And it was nothing but Christ. And when I stopped trying to do it myself, then it started to come off because my focus shifted from me fixing me to God, I'm broke like a mug. I can't make this. You gonna have to, this all you today. And then he did the work in me as I focused on him. Because you can't focus on a lot of stuff at the same time. You pick a focus. You focus on him, everything else kind of fades into the background, right? And then you can focus. And so he has led me out of so much stuff. He has led me when I couldn't see, when I wasn't awake, when I wasn't in my right mind, when I was literally plotting to kill people. And he was like, okay, because he ain't gonna take away your free choice. But when you stop and say, Lord, I'm tripping, I give myself to you. Like right now, God, I know I'm, and I don't even know what it is. But that even takes a conscious awareness to get to the place where you like, I'm messed up. And can't nobody get this right but you. I'll never get this right by myself. And he saved me. So I guess to keep it like, this is not short, sorry, but to keep it short, I get excited about the one who saved me because I know he did. And I can't explain it necessarily to other people. It's just one of those things that it's almost like knowing somebody loves you, but you know it. And even if someone else goes, what you with him for? I want to be. I'm with him because I want to be. Well, you could be with some, I could, don't want to be. Well, it'd be easier over here. It'd be more to this, that, and the other. I'm with who I want to be with. I'm with who loves me. I'm with who'll die for me. I'm with who, if we ain't got food, he'll give me food and he'll make sure I have food and go hungry. And I'm giving a small example. I'm just talking about my spouse. And I've had people talk smack about, oh, y'all don't really seem like a, and you try not to give somebody the middle finger. And it was like, because you'll never see what I see because you're not with them like I'm with them. So I can't explain this to you. And I don't want to explore no other options, what they may look like, because I'm with who I want to be with. And I think that's everybody. Whatever you're doing is probably what you want to be doing, and that's your rationale. People do what they want to do. And right. And so then they see things the way they want to see them. And the cool thing about Christ is he can catch you and he'll show you something you don't want to see, and you be mad at him up. That's how you know it's love, when somebody can show you something you don't even want to see. I remember somebody told me, I said, would you like to go to church? And she said, would you come to my church? And she said, no. She said, because the way you talk to people, I wouldn't want to go to no church where people are like you. I was like, well, I be doggone. And I didn't think I talked to people that bad, but she cut through and was like, you still blaming your choices on your parents. Are you serious? You still rude to, no, you real nice to your church people, but I'm good on you. I'm like, dang. So then it was that moment of truth, like truth hurts. That's why people don't have real friends, because real friends will tell you the truth, like, you wrong for that. You know you wrong for that. Don't do it like that. Like, be for real. And that person did that to me, and I was like, you know. So I like, I don't know how long this one is. I apologize. Play it in parts. Get you something to eat. Pause. This may take a week to watch. But that was it. Just wanted to share it with you that I totally agree. We all on the journey. But I don't want my journey to just be spiritual because I'm stuck here in the flesh. So I need somebody. I need a God. I need a creator who knows how to work with my physical and my mental, mind, body, and soul to get me where he needs me to be. And then I need assurance that when all of this wear out, I got somewhere else to go for a purpose. And that I gotta be selfless enough to realize this battle ain't even just about me. Like, the enemy could care less about me. God cares very much about me. So when somebody steps away from God, it's huge. The enemy is just like, okay, it's like tally marks. Like, okay, it doesn't really matter. But ultimately, it's the battle that's between them two. And the crazy part is the enemy knows he's going to lose. So his goal at this point is not even to win the great battle, but his thing is, I'm going to tear your heart up, Lord. I'm going, because you actually care about these fools. I don't. Because you love them more than you love me. Think about it. He's pissed at us because we have something he doesn't have. We have the opportunity to be with God forever. The enemy, the devil, does not. The devil is pissed because he's like, yeah, I did what I did and I got put out of heaven. They mess up every day and you keep giving grace and mercy to offer them to come to you, but you won't do it for me. Fine. I'm going to make a way. They ain't coming up there. I'm doing everything. And that's why the word says the gates of hell will not prevail against the church. He's mad at us and he's going to take everything he wants to divide us and to mess us up and to kill us. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Here's the cool thing. God says, well, I come that you have life and you have it abundantly. Abundance means more than you can even handle. So that means not just this life, but the next life. So it's a war. It's a head to head. Like ultimate gang against gang. But you already know we got different weapons, bro. So you look like you doing one thing and you may be sitting there AK-47 out, all people down in the neighborhood. You don't even realize when the bomb drop that is coming from above that, come on, it's not even a fair fight. Does that change the fact who died here, who got taken out? No. Because every life matters to God. So we just gotta live. We gotta live in abundance. And then we decide, what does that look like and who am I serving? Because you're serving somebody, yourself, God, the enemy. You working for somebody. You serving somebody. Not necessarily loving somebody, because the opposite or copyright of love in a weird way is lust. So I ain't gonna say that's a perfect match off. But I do believe, just like you said, hot, cold, day, night, white, black, wet, dry. I do believe that it's either love or lust, and it's either him or us. We either in love with us and all we want is what matters and we find our own light, or we in love with him and he's the only one who matters and our light comes from him and we just trust him. Because I guarantee you, if you just put your hands, he's not going to fail you. He's not. I lay that down on my life. If this is my last day on earth, put this message out to the world. He ain't going to fail. Not going to fail. I love you.